Good day, Dr. Randy. Here we are again. This is Ryan Gagahena, and I'm one of your interviewee or interviewer, and you're having a weekly podcast regarding your articles. And today's article is titled, What's Your Baggage? Authentic Dating Profiles. Tell us more about this, Dr. Randy.
Well, first of all, you have to understand that I have an ongoing war against most profiles, so I'll try to really tame this down as best as I can. I mean, obviously, when people put dating profiles out, they say the best they can about themselves. Sometimes they lie, sometimes they exaggerate, but they put out what they think society values and what will interest or seduce other people, right? That's understandable. So people do that, and the profiles I have read, which have been hundreds, people bring them to me over the years. Read this profile. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Should I respond? Should I not respond? And the profiles are traditionally, and some of them are actually written professionally, but they're actually, I did this, I did this, I went here, I accomplished this, I accomplished that. They tell you all about what they've done or what they've experienced, but they don't tell you who they are. They really don't. Well, some of those can be put aside very quickly in the first meeting because society defines what people appreciate or what part of society a person chooses. Like for men, it's height, it's hairline, it's erectile capability, it's financial success. That's what they look for. Women, age and weight, of course, which is very sad, but that's true. So those are the things that most people lie about or exaggerate. So when you meet on the first date, it's like, well, you can tell pretty quickly, number one, if there's any kind of chemistry whatsoever. That's pretty quickly. That's in the first 5 or 10 minutes. But then it's like, wow, you're not as tall as you said you were.
It's like the first time meeting them, right? Well, especially when it's online right now. You can put a profile in there.
The person and what's their countenance and how do they act around you? Are they nervous and are they anxious or are they comfortable or are they too smooth? The countenance in that first moment that you meet tells you a lot about a person and the way you're going to feel about them, and it's often very different from what the person has experienced on that profile. So interestingly enough, and I'm going to take a little sidebar here, I've written a lot of articles on dating. Mm-hmm. And people go out on dating, and if they're going to vet somebody, is this the one? They want to know things like, have been married before, and all these kind of personal things, but they don't ask beautiful questions that tell you who a person is. Like an example would be, tell me some of the most beautiful things that have ever happened to you. Mm. How do you deal with stress and heartbreak? Mm-hmm. If you had your dream come true, how would your life be different now than it is? I mean, those are questions they're sort of anthropological curiosity. I'm not trying to vet you to see if you fit me. I really, really want to get to know who you are. Mm. I really want to get to know who you are as a human being. So, people have said to me, well, how can I possibly write profiles that tell people who I am? And I said, it's not that difficult. It's really not that difficult. So there are 3 things that I talk about. First of all, who are you? What have you learned about yourself? Have you been in the other relationship you've been in? Have you improved? Have you understood why they didn't work? Do you choose the same kind of people? How do you approach life? How do you approach meeting someone? So I will often give people this sort of, it sounds a little superficial, but it isn't. It gets very deep very quickly. If you could have all the women or all the men in the same room that you've ever had a relationship with, and you had a truth serum coming out of the walls, and you said, tell us, the group of you, what you really loved about this person and what broke the relationship up, what they left you up, what didn't work, what was the baggage that you didn't expect that didn't work.
Right.
And baggage can be all kinds of things. It can be, I have children. It can be, I have a father in jail. It can be, I don't have any money. It can be that there's baggage that people bring into every relationship from every other relationship. So these people all get together
Mm-hmm.
And then they decide, and then they tell you, because of the truth serum, this is what we loved about you. This is what we didn't want to pay for. It was too expensive. Because relationships are kind of transactional in that.
Mm-hmm.
So then the person says, well, did I learn that from all those relationships? What would those people have said? And what did I agree with and what I didn't agree with? And have I been really working really hard to change those things?
Mm-hmm.
So if you had a way of letting people know, for instance, what would I put in a profile that actually said that? Well, maybe something like, I've had some great relationships and maybe not such great relationships.
Right.
I don't want to blame the people I chose. I much prefer to look harder at me and what I need to change to be the best person I can be. But what you can count on, I'm funny, I'm honest, I'm reliable, I'm adventuresome. Well, sort of adventuresome, loyal, and usually pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I can be a little sarcastic when I don't know how to be more direct, but I'm working on it. I probably expect a lot from people I love, and I don't do well with disappointment. But all in all, my good friends think I'm a catch.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you will feel that way too. Now, it doesn't say anything about I love to go hiking in the mountains. I love the beautiful ocean. I love to eat at good restaurants. I've been all over the world. It doesn't talk about what you've done.
Mm-hmm.
It talks about who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And you're really saying to that person, I've looked at myself. I understand myself. I'm on a journey. This is where I'm great. This is where I'm working on it. This is where I'm not yet so good. What's for dinner?
Mm-hmm.
You're presenting yourself in a way that tells people who you really are, not what you've done, not where you've been. And that person is much less likely not only to be surprised when they meet you, but they're also more likely to believe what you've put on the rest of your profile.
Right.
They're going to see you as much less likely to lie about your age or your height or your weight or whatever, because you're so open. So the second thing, be really realistic about what you're looking for in a partner. I mean, really realistic. What can you afford? What do you bring to the table? What would complete you? What would make you feel that life was worth living? How do you take two people and make three? What are you actually looking for? And so if you say to yourself, well, I want a partner who's open, who's searching, who doesn't mind being criticized, who will fight with me over the little things and help us get over the big things. I want somebody who's forgiving. I want somebody who's open. Well, how are you making that person feel able to be that safe with you?
Mm.
I mean, if somebody says to me, well, I can't get a date, well, are you in a situation or in an environment where there's lots of people better than you
Right.
and you're wanting to be way up there, or are you in a situation where there aren't many people available and you have a better chance? But kind of knowing who you are and knowing what you want, saying to a person, this is what I need in you. This is who I need you to be. I don't care what you've done so much as who I need you to be for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're looking for in a partner. And the third one, very, very important, is you need to present yourself. So important. You need to present yourself with pride.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what you've lost, no matter what you've done wrong, no matter what you've learned, no matter what you've been through, you need to tell people in a profile, I'm okay with me. I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm struggling. But you present who you are, good and bad, with pride in yourself. So it might say something like, my relationship journey has taught me so much about others, what it takes to create a great relationship and to keep it that way. I've had to look hard at my own history, what I've brought to relationships, what I've asked from them, when they've been successful, when they failed. What do I bring to the table? And what have I had to throw away? All in all, I've grown to value myself more with each new opportunity to listen and learn. And I'm going to do that all my life. I want to be forever interested in how people love and create beautiful connections with other people. That's a person who's talking on their profile. This is who I am. I'm not perfect, but I have respect and love for the path that I'm on. And other people pick that up. They feel that sense of openness, authenticity, honesty. They feel it. So then I ask you, I put one profile up against another. You know, I've been all over the world. I have degrees. You know, I'm financially successful, right? I've done all these things. And ask yourself, would that be more impressive to you than somebody who's actually telling you who they are? You understand the difference. And that's an authentic profile to me. That communicates, because if you like the person, if you meet them, the chemistry is okay, you don't mind the way they look, you like the way they present themselves, you're interested in seeing them again, you have all the time in the world to learn what they've done, where they've been. People don't have to lead with those things, but somehow they feel they do. And I think it leads to a tremendous amount of disappointment, disillusionment, sadness, discouragement, because so often the person doesn't turn out to be who they presented themselves to be. But when you're authentic and you're real, people are who they say they are. And those disappointments don't happen.
Yeah, I think it's also changed the dynamics throughout, like I said, with the internet age. You know, it's a lot of people are on these dating sites, and you know, it's unique where you can actually filter which people that have the same interest as you. And, you know, that kind of vets out the process, I guess, but still, it's all virtual.
Absolutely. And there's 1,500 dating sites. There's about 10 that get most of the people. But, you know, as I said before, it has split so much that you can almost find anybody who does anything, maybe 3 or 4 people. But still, what I'm talking about applies. Who are you? What have you learned? What do you need? How do you make another person feel welcome to express the depth of who they are? Are you proud of who you are in your dating process? Are you realistic about what you bring and what you can pay for? Right? Are you realistic about that? I mean, there was a wonderful book written many years ago. Laurie Gottlieb wrote a book called Marry Mr. Good Enough. And she tells this wonderful story about going to this guru in Beverly Hills. And he asked her to list everything she wants in someone. And then he said, well, you've just listed less than 1% of available men in your category. They can have anybody they want, Laurie. Why would they choose you? So it's a matter of being really honest about, this is what I bring. These are the qualities that sustain wonderful and great relationships with anybody. With anybody.
Wow. So can't wait to post this up and get the comments from you guys. Comments to YouTube, or also email Dr. Randy. Dr. Randy, where can they find you, the people that watch your shows?
Well, I've written 250 articles in Psychology Today online over the past decade. So you and I put them together on one site, relationshipsactually.org, and they are now sorted by when you're dating and how to break up a relationship and how to fix a relationship. So you can go there. You can also reach me directly at my website, Randy Gunther, one word, lowercase, at cox.net. I'm happy to respond to anybody who writes. Like to make those connections. They're wonderful.
All right, Dr. Randy, thank you for your wisdom. And I'm sure this will be enjoyed by the whole world. And we'll see you again next week.
That sounds absolutely wonderful. I can't wait.
Bye.
Bye-bye.